What's going on, everybody? So I was just watching a sermon by, one of my favorite pastors, Stephen Furtick, and a point in the message when he was talking about how he was trying to be trying to be a little league coach for his kids at one point in time. God was reminding me about the time when I worked at a middle school as a security guard and also the middle school track coach. It was funny because I never ran track in my life. Like boy Rob had he was the track guy, and he was helping me out trying to get some more extra money in my pocket. The time when he had got me that job, he actually got me the job as a security guard too. But just that whole situation just had me thinking, and he put it on my spirit to talk about it. All right, let me take it back to the beginning. So before that, I was a security guard for a company. The girl I was dating at the time, she wanted me to move out to where she stayed at. We was doing a long distance thing, so like she wanted me to move out there, and my heart was in it, but I knew that something was pulling me in the opposite direction. Like something was still telling me that I needed to be where I was at. So I'm like, you know, I wanted to and I loved her, but that didn't happen. You know what I mean? So and it's like I knew it wouldn't have worked out like that. You know what I mean? Like at the time, I didn't realize it was God telling me that He needed me to stay here. He needed me to stay where I was at. So I'm like, okay, that's what happened. But I was working security, and things happened. He had got me the job over there at the middle school I ended up working at. And let me tell you how dope God is. Like God's so dope that at the time I wasn't even on my walk. Like that didn't happen till last year. This walk that I'm on now didn't happen until last year. But at the time, God was still using me to touch lives, and I ain't even realize it. You know what I mean? So let me start at the beginning of how that happened. So I was at the security job, as a guard for lots and buildings and stuff like that. And he was telling me he had came to me with the position like he was working as a middle. He had got the job as a security guard at the middle school first. And he was telling me like, yeah, that'd be dope if you came on and worked with me and everything like that. And I'm like, that'd be cool. You know what I mean? Like we worked together, we chill. You know what I mean? He was training me at the time, so we worked out together all the time. And you know what I mean? Like we had a very good friendship, like a close friendship, man. Like I still got respect for him, but that was one of the relationships that God told me I had to step away from. Like I still don't understand it, but God's will be done, not my own. You know what I mean? So I just had to. I was led to say that too. But so we was training. We became real good friends. Like, cause we was cool in high school, but you know what I mean. Like we hung in different circles. He was like the all around popular jock type of guy, but he was always humble. So you know what I mean. He always had, he was always cool with me. So it's like we never had no beef or anything like that. Like, and we always could have cordial conversations. You know what I'm saying? Laugh and joke together. So I had ran into him when I started my security job. I had ran into him at the grocery store that I was guarding at the time. And he was telling me he was training. I was feeling like, I needed I was feeling like I needed to work out at that point in time. So I was like, God had put him right in my path because he had just moved back to Indiana. So, you know what I mean? Like, God had put him right in my path. You know what I mean? So he started training me. I'm doing security. I'm feeling real good about myself. You know what I mean? Like my confidence is coming back. My clothes was hanging off me, so I was like, yeah, that's a good sign because when I first got my security uniform, it was a little tight. You know what I mean? So I'm feeling real good. And he was like, you know, you should come work with me at the middle school, and blah blah blah. Then we'd be, you know what I mean, we'd be together all the time. We'd be, you know, we train at the school, and you know, we kicking and everything like that. So I'm like, I bet. You know what I'm saying? Like, good deal. So we did that. He got me the job, and I started. You know what I mean? But let me tell you how, like I said, God is so dope, yo. Like he put me in this position. I ain't even realize how many lives I would touch in the course of just being there. You know what I mean? Cause for one, I'm not really that good with kids. You know what I mean? Like I always had a little, you know, doubt in myself about dealing with kids because I would only be around my little cousins and stuff, and then like the kids at like church and stuff didn't like me, so I was like, I don't know what that's about. So I never had confidence like that. I mean, I guess well, let me rephrase that. You know, there were kids that I was around that that clung to me and stuff like that. Like I said, my little cousins at the time when I was coming up, I was always watching them. So that they were kids that was cool with me. Then my brother, he was in a relationship with a young lady who had a daughter, and I looked at her as my little niece, and she was cool. You know what I mean? But other than that, I didn't really have, I didn't really have too many kids, and then my sister had a daughter. Like, okay, my sister had a daughter too, and so it was some kids that was cool, but like coming up as a like through my adolescence and stuff like that, I never really was good with kids. Let me put it like that. So, like being put at this middle school felt out of place for me. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I came in with the mindset like, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with these kids. I know they're not gonna like me. I don't really like telling people what to do. But now I'm in a position where I'm a security guard, so I have to tell people what to do. So for the first few months, I struggled. I struggled heavily with my job. You feel me? Like I was like, man, these kids don't listen to me. They ain't liking me. They looking at me like I'm just whatever. I don't know. I'm just feeling defeated all around and everything like that. But all I could do was be me. You know what I mean? Like all I could do was be the version of myself that I was at the time. You know what I mean? But God placed me there to heal my own inner scars too. You know what I mean? Like because when I was guarding there, I was the security guard in the 7th grade hallway, and that's where all of my traumatic scars started. You know what I mean? So like I knew that instantly. Why am I guarding the 7th grade hallway? Like this is where all of my psychological pain started. So lo and behold, that was where God placed me so I can hit. You know, because by the end of the school year, I was like one of the favorite security guards they had. You know what I mean? They listen to me. I tell them to go to class. I mean, of course they kids, so they're not gonna always 100% of the time listen to me. But I tell them to go to class, they gonna go to class. You know what I mean? Like they joking and laughing with me. I'm really because my uncle was what I wanted to be to them. My uncle was to me what I wanted to be to them. You know what I mean? I wanted them to look at me as a big homie, an uncle, a brother. You know what I mean? Like somebody they could trust, somebody that wasn't gonna betray that trust and try to, you know what I'm saying, like be some type of creepy old dude or whatever. You know what I mean? I wanted them to be able to like, yeah, if I ever got a problem, I could go to him and be, you know what I mean, and talk my problems out. Have somebody to confide in. You know what I mean? Like somebody who actually understands how to talk to me and who I am, you know what I mean? And I had that relationship with with a few of them, you know what I mean? 7th, 8th graders, a couple of 6th graders too, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to show them that there was love, the general love that comes from an adult, you know know what I mean? And they took to that. You know, it took them a little while. It took a few of them a little while to come around, but some of the ones that took a while to come around became some of my favorite kids. You know what I mean? Like they looked to me whenever they needed, you know. I mean, I got them out of a couple of jams, you know what I mean, like that. I ain't gonna go into, but I got them out of a few jams and everything. But they always remembered that I was the one that they could come to if they needed to talk or they needed some you know, somebody to make them feel better with a joke, or you know what I mean, like, or they just, you know what I mean, like I was genuinely that big homie figure to a few of those kids, and I thank God that He put me in that position to be that. And you know, one of the teachers told me one time, I was asking her like, I don't know how am I, like I went to her, you know, she was an older lady, a very wise woman. You know what I mean? I went to her, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to reach these kids or deal with these kids because I feel like I'm too passive to be, you know, the security guard that people want me to be because the school wanted me to be one way, but I knew it wasn't gonna work like that because I knew the psychology of a kid. You know what I mean? Like I knew that just barking orders at them because I didn't like to have orders barked at me. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like to be told what to do and be condescended and you know what I mean, like be degraded and look down upon just because I was young, you know, or just because I was, you know, like had a different viewpoint. So they wanted me to be that way at the school, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna be my way because this is how my uncle showed us how, and this is why, like, my uncle rest in peace. You know, me and him shared the same birthday. That, but 2 days before our birthday and my golden birthday, he died. You know, so rest in peace to my uncle. You know, but he was the one that passed down the blueprint of how I wanted to be to these kids, you know, like because I trusted my uncle, you know what I'm saying? Not to say I didn't trust my parents or anything like that, but my uncle was, you know, he was younger, so I trusted him with whatever, you know, he told us, he was like, you could come to me, you could talk, you could cuss, like you could tell me things that you don't feel comfortable telling your parents. And I'm like, that's what I wanted to be to these kids. But anyway, I went to her and asked her, you know, how can I deal with them, and you know, how can I deal with this job better? And she was like, they need to see somebody like you. They need to see somebody who's calm, cool, and collected, and have a good spirit about them, and have a calming spirit about them. They need that, you know, because there was too many people coming down on them and you know treating them like the whole school. I'm not even about to down the school or nothing like that, but it wasn't, you know, they, I could see why they acted the way they acted. You know what I mean? And then coming up in the the areas that they came up in, like it was literally different neighborhoods coming together in one school. So it was kind of rowdy to say the least. But you know, just providing that, you know, that calm demeanor that, you know, God put me there to calm the air down. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that there was other people that He put in that position, but He definitely put me there to make a difference. And I thank Him that He put. And now that I see how that happened, I thank God for that. You know what I mean? Like God put me there to be a light to some of those kids because that's how they, you know, they some of them just clung to me and they treated me like that. You know what I mean? And it was I seen the influence that I made, and I was told on a couple of occasions that my presence was felt when I was my absence was felt when I wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I understood some of what was going on, but I wasn't on my walk at the time, and I didn't really see how God was working. But either way, to talk about when I was a track coach, I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any clue what was going on. But my boy Rob, he was he was the high school track coach, and he, like I said, he from high school he was the all around jock type of guy, fastest dude in the school. You know what I mean? Like his story is amazing. You know what I mean? Like his story that he went to at like in college and everything like that. It's amazing when he told me like, and he still remained a humble guy. You know what I mean? Like so, I like all respect to him. You know what I mean? It's just like I said, God just pulled me away from that situation. No, well, not the situation, but that relationship. You know, to pursue what I'm doing now. You know what I mean? But no disrespect to bro. You know what I mean? Still got love for him all day. But either way, he was the one that knew what was going on. He knew the program and he was helping me out to put some extra money in my pocket. So God worked that out too. You know what I mean? Because I was making a little extra bread doing, the coaching thing after school and on top of my security check, and I was, I was decent. And it pulled me out of some financial binds that I had at the time. You know what I mean? So God worked that out too. But when I was the track coach, to put a point on this story, I was lost pretty much. You know what I mean? But he knew what to do. He would make the plans, he would make the training regiments and everything like that. And I would just follow suit and do what he told me to do. Not to put that not to put him in the position of God, but that type of blind, well, not blind because he knew what was going on. I didn't. But to put it in perspective of how God wants us to trust him. Just trust. He gonna put us in some situations that we don't understand. Me with the middle school, I didn't understand why I was there. You know what I mean? But it was to be a light and to heal my own trauma from when I was that age, and to be what I needed to those kids at that time, and then to be like when he put me as a track coach. God will put you in position to do something that you don't understand, that you don't like, that you don't perceive what's going on, that you in the dark about. But at the same time, he knows what's going on. Let him do the heavy lifting and the planning and the thing. All you got to do is just play your position and allow him to work and just do what he tells you to do, and you'll touch so many lives that you wouldn't even realize until you look back on it. Like I said, I was watching a sermon. It's 4 a.m. I didn't even know that I would be touched like this by the sermon that I was watching. But he put it in my spirit to say it because somebody needed to hear it. Somebody needs to know that the way that you interact with the people around you speaks volumes. If you don't even, like, people think it's about going out there, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it is about going out and spreading the message. But if you're not influencing the people that's right in your neighborhood, right? If the people that's in your close vicinity don't respect you, or they looking at you as this and that, you know what I mean? Like, how can you show the love? How can, when you do change, I mean, well, I guess, there's examples in the Bible like Paul, you know what I mean? When he was Saul, he was killing Christians, then he changed his whole life around. But you have to let God do the healing in you so you can be a light to others. Because that's what he did with me. But what I wanted to say was just be be a light to the people around you. Even if it's not, you know, telling them about the Lord, display his love through your being. You know, give an encouraging word. Tell somebody that they're not stupid. Tell somebody that they're smart. Tell somebody that they look good today. You know what I mean? Be encouraging, be uplifting, because you never know. Even with that small gesture, tell somebody good morning. Even with that small gesture, you never know how that can affect somebody. You know what I mean? Like I said, I didn't start my journey until last year. And before that, I didn't read the Bible. Like, I read it, but I didn't read it like to understand it. I just read it because somebody said I should. You know what I mean? So until I got my relationship with the Lord, the Bible didn't really hold much weight to me. I'm just keeping honest. You know what I mean? And Lord, forgive me if that's not right, but that's my testimony. That's, somebody need to hear that just because you might not read the Bible, you might not pray as much, you know what I mean? Like, you can still be a beacon of light for the Lord. You know what I mean? Just your attitude, walking around with a smile on your face, telling people that that they look good, or that they, not in a creepy way, but you know what I mean? Like, just being a positive person for the Lord. You know what I mean? Not saying that you shouldn't deepen your relationship with God now, because you could be outside the kingdom, he'll still use you as a beacon. But you know what I mean, like the bare minimum. I don't want to skew the message. You know what I'm saying? Like, the bare minimum: believe that he died for your sins. Believe that Jesus died on the cross for your sins. His blood was shed for you, so you can touch these people's lives. And if you don't have a prayer life, I would say get into it. You know what I mean? Because God want to connect with you. Somebody need that too. You know what I'm saying? Not to say, like, I'm not trying to skew the message, or say that you could just be a good person out here and don't have to worry about getting close to God, because that's the key right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, like, reading the Bible, as far as you might not be an avid reader of it. You know what I mean? Like, don't look down on yourself because of that. But at the same time, be a positive influence for somebody's life, because you don't know how God is planning to use you. Like, I didn't understand how he was using me when I was at the middle school. And he used me in a powerful way, because to this day, I still see some of the kids and they still know me. They still look at me like I wanted to be looked at. Like, they still look, oh, that's my boy right there. You know what I mean? Like, and that's powerful. That says a lot. That lets you know that you made an impact in somebody's life. So that's all I gotta say, man. I love y'all, man.